in the year 20XX in a half, there was some pyramid. Wow, I've never actually seen this video, so.
But anyway, I'm Doseku. Joining me as always is Mazapenko.
Yep.
We got DDRKhat and Peter.
Hi there.
Hey.
And these guys are actually the developer and the community manager / beta tester of the game that we're watching right now.
Gameplay you see here may not actually be seen in video.
It is worth noting that this footage is all done by Peter just himself, even the co-op sections.
Oh, nice, nice.
So he is just a boss at the co-op.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I didn't have anyone to record with, so yeah.
So that's literally him playing two people, like, independently and everything. It's amazing.
And actually doing it good, unlike earlier today.
You leave that out of this.
Oh no, it's already in. We can't take it out in post. Now, I really like this intro because it's based off of one of the old Capcom intros.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, there actually is a variation from the 2.0 version to this version. That's why it's here.
Okay.
Oh my god. There's a piece of ceiling.
Wow, it's all in 3D.
Ah! What is this third dimension?
Alright, so around here, in the earlier versions of this game, the buildings in the background were just blocks. So they're actually more realized now.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I never personally noticed that. I'm sorry, Peter. Don't kill me.
No problem, man. But yeah, we keep tweaking some stuff for every release, really. So with this last release, we wanted to just go over the intro again and do some improvements.
Yeah.
A little bit of polish, a little bit of very nice shadows.
I still find it, this actually got extended a little bit after this part here. In the previous versions, it ended here. Yeah. But now there's this new bit. It's like, oh, what now?
But here it's like, God, let's just keep going.
Yeah, it's like, I just cannot get a break today.
Fortunately, you can just skip right to the game if that's your thing. If you just want to get right to saving frames and taking damage to save time.
Yeah, if you want to be one of those speedrunners.
Exactly.
Overall, we don't put that much emphasis on the story.
Yeah. If you did, it would be very unclassic gamey.
Yeah, I just kind of assume that people don't care that much really about the story. I mean, the gameplay is really what's important.
Oh, that artwork that was just on the screen, it was funny to see the older version of that, because Peter drew that, and just the older version of Roll in the background, they lovingly refer to it as Derpy.
Oh, so you did the artwork for this as well?
Yeah.
Huh.
He's the art and the stage designer. He's the whole reason this entire project happened. The very first sort of video of this was just kind of Peter messing around in video editing software, making a video just for the sake of it of Mega Man, deciding to show it off in a cool 2.5D perspective. Then I might be getting this wrong here, so you'll probably have to correct me, but it seemed like he got a really big feedback on YouTube, and so he decided to do a second one as another sort of proof of concept, and then showed the co-op idea of it, which then exploded as far as I saw in terms of views and comments.
Yeah.
And then you just had to do a game.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. When we put out the second video, we got a lot of response, and I got in touch with Edgar, a guy who's been on the project since the start, really. So we've pretty much been working since. Well, been working on and off. You know, game development is pretty tough, as it turns out.
Yeah, it's no walk in the park for sure. We have some friends that do stuff like this, and now we get to Doseku dying in the desert.
I get past this part.
Are you sure?
I don't know, it's looking pretty bad so far. He's already getting scorpioned. Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to make mention that there's far too enemies out in the desert here. So I have a question. What made you want to do co-op? What brought that idea on?
Well, to be honest, I don't really remember. It kind of just... I think co-op was just kind of a thing that a lot of games did back then.
Yeah.
It seemed like it kind of became a thing with Resident Evil 5, and I think more games were doing it around that time.
Oh yeah, so that was like 2009, 2010?
Yeah, around that time. So it was pretty much like I had done the first video, which showed off the more like perspective changes, and then I really wanted something new just for the second video, and I thought, well, co-op might be fun to try out, and people just really liked it. So
yeah, it gives you an excuse to design an entirely new set of levels as well.
Yeah.
Heck, I actually saw them for the first time on Kat's stream, and it was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that Peter decided to go that route, because a lot of games just add a second player and just go, there you go, have fun. Which I think is a large missed opportunity, when you could just go, let's have a set of levels for one player and a set of levels for two player. Because then you can't really integrate like some really more of the nitty-gritty co-op puzzles that you can do if you just go, well, let's just throw a second player in, because then the single player can't go through them. I mean, I suppose you could do alternate paths, but that doesn't make it as fun if you see an alternate path that you know you can never go.
Understandable. And then, of course, here is the safe mechanic, where it shows you that you can fall down certain blocks, but you don't die this time.
Yeah,
this time.
I remember seeing that the first time, because, remember, with the way the beta releases were, they slowly added Robot Masters before I joined the team. And I remember when they'd finally added Ferroman and playing through the stage in single player? Yeah, single player. And there's an enemy just after the second checkpoint. He runs towards you, but falls through a hidden hole behind a cloud. And I just remember seeing that and thinking, oh wow, that's really good that it shows you that. Especially considering I just watched Ego Raptor's video about how clever the Mega Man X intro video level is. And I was just like, this guy gets it, this guy gets it. And then not long after, Peter and Edgar got in contact with me, and I was like, oh, well, this is a thing now.
Yeah, that's one thing I've liked from what I've seen from the stages, is that they do a very good job of explaining the mechanics in a very traditional way. And, the bats took you out. I was betting on the mummies, but I was wrong.
It's always the bats.
It tends to be the bats. That's why they're called goddamn bats.
That's one other thing. This is sort of one other trap that I like that people seem to try and do, is they always try and shoot the bats from like a safe distance whilst they're still covered up. It's like you saw the bullet reflect. I saw someone try for a good solid minute to try and kill them when they weren't coming at you. It's just like, are you not getting the idea that it's making chinking noises
just
and not hurting
one more hit, I'm sure it'll work.
Ever since the first Mega Man, there has been a you can't kill this thing noise when you shoot a thing that you cannot kill at the moment. But, I don't know, I'm surprised at how many people have not played some of the earlier games. Well, this is probably a good, rude introduction for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they said, this game has multiple levels for solo and co-op, but this game is still not kind of single player, at least not kind to me.
Well, yeah, it's difficult for me, too, and I'm actually good at video games.
Well, with all Mega Man games, it's very much a reaction and memory game.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
I honestly feel that this is actually a bit more forgiving than the original games, especially like in the Quickman stage. That, with the Vanishing Block segment, is a bit more forgiving than the original games.
And the quick lasers are, I mean, you see them coming a little bit easier.
Yeah, well, that's mainly due to the camera angles, though, probably.
Yeah, the camera angles. Man, this game is all about the camera angles. Like, this little, like, sort of parallax column thing going on right here. Good stuff.
Yeah, it's actually pretty neat because this game is designed in a completely 3D environment, but with 2D perspective for the most part.
Exactly. And hence the 2.5D. And I mean, it's a really novel way to present it visually. But then there are certain times where you see like parts of the stage in the background. That was I saw that on another stage. I thought it looked really nice.
Then here we have the Pharaoh mini boss.
You're gonna die to it. I'm just guessing.
Pretty much. because at this point I'm thinking that the hitbox is well above, it's just at my apex, so I can only get 1 or 2 hits in per round, and there's that other bullet that comes out.
Yeah.
And that just wrecks me.
Shoot snakes at it. Oh wait.
No, the way to sort of really beat him is being able to actually just shoot into his mouth.
Yeah.
Really helps out.
Feed him dog food.
And I do, but the mouth, at least to me, always seemed like it was too high for me to get for the most points.
Well, I know you'll figure it out eventually, because if you don't, then you just sent us a video of like 10 days of you dying at this boss. and just so you know, a Red Super made fun of somebody for doing that already on Kid Dracula. You saw that video, didn't you?
No.
Okay, well you should, because that's your future.
No. Alright, so I know there's a bit of trivia behind this boss here, from what I understand anyway.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
You want to talk about that, Peter?
Or the mini boss is actually originally it was supposed to be in the 4th game.
Okay.
In Mega Man 4, but then it was cut for whatever reason, and we pretty much thought that it might be fun to bring it back in. So we based our mini boss on there are some like leaked images.
Okay, so you just took those and ran with them.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we
Nice.
don't know how it would have functioned in the original game, but still, it's fun to include it.
Considering the slowdown in the NES games, probably not with these cool little homing missiles. It's a nice little pattern it's got. Homing missiles, then directed shot. Kind of keeps you on your toes. If you're Doseku, it keeps you on your toes for like 6 lives.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're thinking of making some changes to it, because right now it's a bit too it's just like you can pretty much stand in place and jump and shoot.
But that's Mega Man's formula.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but I know in the original game they were supposed to have like the platform you were standing on kind of rotated, so you couldn't just stand in place. You had to actually readjust.
Jump to the other platform.
Oh well, not necessarily, but you were standing on like a ball and it was rotating, so you constantly just had to keep walking. You couldn't just stand in place and jump. I don't know. We might change it to something like that eventually.
Yeah, moving platforms would be cool.
Well, one of the ideas that Johan had suggested, which is Peter's brother and part of the team as well, was rather than just the platforms being static as they are, they gradually raise and lower. So that way you would have to not just stand on the closest platform, but also move to the furthest away platform.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not bad. I think that would work pretty good.
Yeah.
And here we're seeing...
Another idea that could be kind of interesting would be perhaps like the blocks fall from the ceiling, gradually sink into the sand, and then new blocks fall down. So you're then having to dodge those blocks, but then use them to stand on. Kind of like a Wily boss, where you jump on like the missile to shoot Wily.
Oh yeah, that would be pretty cool too. There's a lot of ways you could implement that.
Yeah, it's an idea, but I'm not going to say we're going to do which one, because we've got to find obviously the best route.
Yeah.
Yeah. And these are like the only Mets that don't try to defend themselves at all because they're too busy flying. We like flying, yay! And now you can see its backside.
You can kill that Met. I've done it once. I can't seem to replicate it for this, but...
You can once you've not gone around the corner. Because he's basically not in the same plane, your bullets won't manage to shoot him.
Yeah, there's no way that would line up.
I could have sworn I know I killed him at least once, but...
Yeah, well, you thought you could go back around the corner. And for those watching at home, you cannot go back around the corner. You'll just jump out into space and die.
However,
yes.
If you're careful about it and you keep an eye out, one of the stages has a little hidden secret when you go around the corner.
Yeah, so 2.5D, also a good way to hide secrets.
Yes. I remember finding that when we were doing the beta testing. I was like, Peter, how do you get to this? Did you put this on the wrong plane? He's like, no, there's a way. And I'm like, how? It took me ages to find that one. I felt so stupid after I did it.
Well, I mean, that was kind of the point, to hide it very, very well. Also to make you feel stupid, that was the other point.
Oh, of course. I always feel stupid.
Yeah.
Don't we all?
So these gravity wells, the blue and up down ones, they actually went through quite a few different designs because my co-op tester actually has a color issue. He can't see the color red very well. He has. It's not actually just directly the red. It's more like he doesn't see grey very well. So certain colors blur together for him. And one problem he had when I got him to blindly play through the co-op stage with me, is he didn't realize
Color blindly.
One thing he didn't notice was that the background thing made an effect on him. He just assumed it was part of the background.
Right.
So we had to try a number of ways to sort of make him pop out at the player so that you could go, oh, that actually makes a difference. I did like ultimately what Peter finally did in the end with the borders of them. That makes them very visible, very sharp, and go, this is a thing.
This is an important thing, and take notice of it. Smart.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that there's arrows pointing up and down. They're probably still pretty hard to see if you're colorblind, but the borders.
Oh, no, it's not
help.
so much straight colorblind. It's he can't see certain shades of color.
Yeah.
Now, I know those came from, those are ideas that came from Gravity Man stage from Mega Man 5. Because he had the gravity wells like that. They actually had the arrows also.
Well, it was it's similar. In Gravity Man stage, I mean it switches, so all of a sudden you're running around on the ceiling. So it's a bit different, but
yeah. In this case, it's just like higher gravity, lower gravity.
Yeah. Actually, this mechanic is from one of the Game Boy games. I think Mega Man, if it's 4 or 5. One of the stages actually uses this mechanic, and I actually played those games for the first time just last year, and I thought, hey, it might be fun to implement something from those games as well.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. There are some pretty good mechanics there. We know some decent Mega Man scholars who tend to go really in-depth about the Game Boy games. But, you know, I grew up with the NES games, so I'm just like, eh.
Yeah.
But that's really interesting stuff.
We actually also have one more nod to the Game Boy games, which is one of the rooms in Pharaoh Man stage is actually lifted straight from the Game Boy Pharaoh Man stage. So that's just something,
Little nods and references everywhere.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Well, the game itself is full of sort of little nods and references. A load of people have noticed the obvious one of the large moving snakes in Pharaoh Man stage, resembling that of the Battletoads segment of the game, where in Battletoads there was large moving snakes you would have to walk across.
Yes.
In the single player, that is a thing, but it's not so much of a thing, it's just a get from A to B segment. Whereas in the co-op, it's actually a large portion of the game. It's the last leg of the game, and it literally takes you from the last checkpoint up to the boss. And it is a little tough when you don't know how to play it, especially in its first iteration, because of one of the turns the mini-boss made. No, it's not even a boss. Because one of the turns that the snake would make, it was near impossible to not get caught by spikes if you weren't perfectly to the right of the part of the snake that you could stand on and keep running right. If like you let go of right for a second, you were dead, guaranteed dead. You couldn't slide away or anything. Johan actually came up with a very good solution, because typically in moving platforms it was just a simple left or right, whereas what Johan suggested and eventually got implemented was you built up movement momentum. So by walking with the direction that the snake would go, you could speed up and move a bit faster. But then walking away from it, you obviously moved a bit slower. But this allowed you, rather than going nowhere and just slowly going back into the spikes, you actually had a chance. And it makes that one part so much easier. You can actually easily do it now. Not like hilariously easy, you can still die hard if you don't know what you're doing. But it's much more forgiving. In the beta 3.0.1 sort of trailer video, well, release video, because we did like a large beta update of a bunch of bug fixes and stuff. and in that one, was it 2.0.1 actually? I can't remember anymore. It's been so long ago. I think it was 2, I can't remember. Beta 2 or Beta 3, one of the two. We put out a little video, and in that trailer you can actually see the difference of trying to run against the Snakey, and then in the updated version, I deliberately make a mistake in that video, just to show that even though you mess up, you can still recover quite well, as long as you don't do really badly.
That's smart. Man, all those little things. Oh, did you figure out the pattern, Dosey? Not this time.
No. So, place your bets. Do you think I'd take him out this time?
Of course.
If you plan to do another stage on this video, yeah, probably. If not, this is the 15 minutes of you fighting Starman.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to see that, though.
Not unless you, like, figure it out really good and then fight him again, but just take no hits. That would be cool.
You know that's never going to happen, though.
Oh yeah, no. You can't not take hits. That's hard.
I guess the point I was going to bring up here is, when fighting this guy, you can only really get 1 to 2 hits on him at most before he hits you with before he goes at you with his shield, and if you notice, his shield does a lot more damage to you than you do to him.
Yeah, that's why you gotta keep really far away and not hit by it.
Yeah.
Like, ever.
I still find one of the fun issues that we actually had with the Robot Masters is kind of like a little oversight of programming, really, that they could actually run out of weapon energy. So with Starman, because his weapon uses so much energy, it happens typically what people would refer to as like halfway through the fight. He would then try and shoot his weapon, and it wouldn't happen, but then he tries to shoot it again immediately. So he ended up basically in an infinite state of being almost invulnerable. You would have to plant your Mega Buster just inside of his back to actually land a hit, otherwise it would just ricochet off as if he had a shield. It was really kind of funny, so he turned basically into like a Sniper Joe.
That sounds like the worst thing. I suppose he just told the professor, soldier on. Just deal with it. That's exactly as intended. But I hear you guys fixed the weapon energy thing with the Robot Masters, so that's good.
Well, yeah. I mean, definitely in this version, you can see it never happens because that got fixed. But for those people that had Beta 4, good luck to them.
Yeah, so these octopi, they're kind of like my least favorite enemies on this stage because you have to do these short hops on a stage where there's no such thing as short hops.
There is.
So you're pretty much always covered in tar. That's not a short hop, that's a space hop.
No, because of the water physics, it just moves that much slower.
Well, water physics are stupid and so are octopi.
I just don't like the spikes.
No, the spikes are no big deal. If you know how to jump, you can totally get past the spikes. See, look, that bubble's doing a dance for you. Don't miss.
I died to that ceiling once before, so...
Have you died to that fish before?
No, those fish don't really hurt you.
Yeah, they really don't. I always try to slide under them, but I tend to miss.
Yeah, it's really hard to time because if you stand up at any moment, those are going over your head. You're going to get hit.
Do you recall offhand how many hit points they have?
Offhand, they have 2 or 3 hit points.
3? That's too much for an enemy that's just rushing right at you.
2 or 3.
No wonder I never try to shoot it out of midair.
I'm pretty confident that it is 2 because I'm pretty sure you can kill them with just 1 laser trident shot, which does 2 damage. It is the most broken weapon in Mega Man history, other than the Metal Blade.
Oh yeah.
Peter was just amazed at how strong it was, and he's like, are we sure this is working as intended? I was like, Peter, this is exactly how the laser trident worked, and I broke it down for him, and he was like, oh my god, this is ridiculous.
I wouldn't know too much about that. I never beat 9 or 10.
So, laser trident, for those watching. Laser trident is actually a really strong weapon, and the first one you should really grab in Mega Man 9. Splash Woman is your starting boss, really. She has a weakness to the Mega Buster. She takes 2 damage versus every other Robot Master only taking 1. And her laser trident can go through multiple enemies. It can hurt shielded enemies, so it pierces. and it only normally uses 1 pellet of energy. Like with Metal
Wow.
Blade, you basically get lots of shots. So a pellet is basically 2 shots. With the original laser trident, we tweaked it so it's only 1 per shot, so you only have 28 shots. But the fact that it can pierce is incredibly strong because you can just fire 2 of those and just run, and it will clear out enemies that spawn in front of you for the most part.
Yeah. Any weapon that will pierce through a shield is always useful in Mega Man because of all the enemies that like to shield themselves.
Yeah.
So annoying.
And the fact that it does 2 damage. The fact that it does 2 damage is really strong as well, because obviously those enemies that should take like 4 shots to kill, okay, 2 laser tridents, done. Like with the Ferroman, if you're going across the sand pits right at the start, I think those enemies take 3 or 4 hits to kill. 2 laser trident shots and they're cleared. And you just power slide as it goes across the screen, and you'll get there in no time. There you go, that's the strat for doing as fast as you can and safe as you can.
Yeah, and here's the strat. So here's the strat for becoming Blackface Mega Man. Not quite politically correct, but just roll with it. Now the question I have about Splash Woman in general, she takes extra damage from the Mega Buster. Do you believe this is a sign of mega sexism?
Oh.
I don't feel that it was. I feel because all the other games had that one Robot Master that you should start on. I just feel that sort of incoincidentally it was Splash Woman, and therefore it's just it's an accidental sort of sexism, if you want to. But can a robot really have a gender? So debatably.
Well, don't Google. Don't use Google.
Yeah, don't Google it unless you want to see something terrible. He's right. I've confirmed this. I've confirmed this multiple times. It's
if you want to see something terrifying, Tumblr.
Because, well, obviously Splash Woman is the best starting boss in Mega Man 9, and I'm guessing they knew also that most people would go for Splash Woman. I mean, for the first stage, just due to the fact that it's the first female robot master.
Yeah, that's novel. So let's just see what her stage is all about. Turns out it's a bunch of jumping into spikes, but then you get to the boss, and, somewhat smooth sailing compared to all the jumping into spikes that you did getting there.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we'll probably be seeing some more jumping into spikes. Oh man, these bubbles take forever to spawn. Such a pain.
Thankfully, I didn't hit that spike ceiling there.
But of course, the fish got you. The fish will always get you.
But at least it was the fish and not the spikes.
Yeah, at least it was the fish and not the spikes. Or the fish throwing you into the spikes. Now, if you were actually trying to do that right, the trick would be to jump while you're still in the water, because any other time you'll end up falling into the spikes. Let's see if Doseku gets it.
Yeah, I had a conversation with Kat on that one before, and he showed me how extremely easy it was compared to how I was doing it.
Yeah. Depending, it would take a certain amount of timing, but as long as you're in the water for the whole jump, you're usually good. I have screwed this up like more times than I'd like to count, though. So
it is a really tough one. It caused me a lot of grief during the initial testing, and we nearly changed the design. But then Johan put his foot down and was like, "No, it is fine. You're just being stupid." I'm like, "Okay, fine. I'll try again."
It's probably a good call. He's probably on the side of Mega Man difficulty.
But no, it was a good call, and ultimately I went down. I went down to it. I used our sort of development tools to just sort of really practice the segment, and then I tweaked onto how you do it, and I was just like, "This is so easy." It's literally one of those epiphany things that you flip a switch almost. Is, oh my god, this is ridiculously hard to immediately. This is so easy. How was I dying on it?
Yeah. Well, I guess one of the big things for you. You were saying you hadn't played the classic Mega Man games before this, correct? Or
I can't claim I have played them. No. The closest I got was playing Mega Man 2 on my iPhone when they did that release. But prior to that,
yeah, a lot of us that grew up with these games, we sort of got these like really weird like pixel perfect jumps and stuff sort of in our muscle memory. Yeah. So it's probably a bit more difficult for people just getting into the series.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because Mega Man 9 sort of been heralded as like the hardest one, and that was the one I've beaten. So I came into the series with the hardest one and beat the hardest one. So I don't feel so too bad about myself.
Well, I mean, I haven't beaten it, but I still wouldn't say it's the hardest one. It is pretty difficult, though, trust me. But, everybody's got their own opinion on the hardest one. Dosi, what do you think's the hardest Mega Man you've played?
All of them.
Okay, well, I kind of expected that from you. For me, probably 3. Oh, that was harsh. You got beheaded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And spikes. So, is there gonna be like another like 5 minutes of spikes? No, you're going right into my favorite stage, Quick Man.
Yeah, and you're gonna see why I don't make it very far soon enough.
Because you don't get past the first quick laser. I'm gonna be really sad if you don't get past the first quick laser. Well, at least you're showing us some, like, alternate character gameplay. So I'm guessing that Mega and Proto play exactly the same in this game, right?
They do, yes.
Okay. Yeah, because I know in some games they'll give Proto Man his shield, or they'll give them special abilities, but...
It was something we considered giving to Proto Man, and
Yeah.
it's kind of still on the drawing board, but then you're giving one player an advantage in the co-op segment. Whereas we are working on having other characters in the game, and there is one at the moment. But we don't want to just add characters just for the sake of adding characters. If they're going to be in there, they should have their own playstyle as well. So at the moment in the game, there is a secret character that you get by clearing all of the achievements.
Alright.
And this character is stronger. His Mega Buster does a bit more damage than the normal one. It does, I think it's like 1 or 2 units more damage. So he's really strong and he can jump quite high.
Okay.
His downside is his slide is really slow.
Ew.
So it's actually a really funny animation to see. I'm not going to spoil it, so I'm not going to tell you the character or why it's funny. But when you can see this hidden character and their sliding animation, it's hilarious.
I'm taking guesses in my head, but I'm going to keep them to myself until after the video. Might as well keep people guessing, just in case I got it right. Oh, there we go. I was expecting you to be stuck on that for about an hour. Oh, and that's a great trip up. I love that little switcheroo, and I never saw that before.
Well done. Yeah, it took me so long to figure out how I did that, and when I turned around the corner, because I wasn't going around the corner,
yeah.
So I'm stood there going, how do I get back there? I went around the corner, I was like, this is not this simple, please no, and I've got it, I was like,
Now here's everybody's favorite part of a Mega Man game. Disappearing blocks.
Straight into the pit.
Straight into the pit. And that was the easy one that nobody should ever fail on, so good job.
To be fair, it's a little more forgiving in the co-op. The first segment of vanishing blocks you get in the co-op actually has a flaw, so you can't instant kill yourself.
Yeah, as I recall, like, none of the vanishing blocks in single player have floors, so it's just get good.
And now here's the thing, I like these ones because these actually are a lot more lenient. The one you're saying actually stays for a couple more seconds to give you time to jump to the next one.
Yeah, the block puzzles here are quite a bit easier than some of the annoying block puzzles that I've faced before. Though sometimes I have gotten caught up in the last one and just bumped my head on that block and screwed up completely.
Yeah, the last one can be tough for sure.
The up ones were always the tough ones. Especially those took the longest to sort of find a sweet timing for.
Yeah.
They caused a lot of trouble because I was saying, like, you know, I'm jumping and I'm just getting caught in his block. Especially in the first iteration of the vanishing blocks, they were just always solid.
Yeah.
So even if you were halfway through it, it would just eject you downwards. You're like, well, no, and it's just throwing you out of the level.
But it's a bit more forgiving this time, huh?
Yeah, if you're about halfway up it, it will shoot you up on top, which is the way it is done in the original games as well.
Yeah, and that's good, because anything less, and I'm pretty sure people would be pulling their hair out a lot quicker than they normally would.
Definitely.
And of course, the one that Dosi was stuck on before, well, we'll get to it in a second. But yeah, These guys, the guys that speed up whenever you're on the same level, always annoying. And I'm glad that they're the ones with the eyes that you can actually kill, instead of just like the little mines that you can only stop for a second.
Yeah, you can only kill them with not the Mega Buster, though.
Not the Mega Buster. Yeah, that's why I'd never killed them, because I was using all of the Mega Buster.
Yeah.
Alright, well that's the end of the game. I hope you guys enjoyed.
Well, it's not the end of the game. The game is still in development.
Well,
Same
yeah, you know
difference.
what I mean.
Same difference. But thanks for coming by, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.